Hello, it's me, Steve San Francisco, and doing another user experience review. This time I'm going to review fairpayzone. And maybe Evonomics. Um, Two interesting things. So this is mostly irrelevant, but just to get some background, you always want to know how somebody gets to your site and what they were doing immediately before, so you can sort of profile your audience. So I'm going to profile myself, and what I had open in email was something to human tech community, time well spent, business model innovation. Somebody replied, "Interesting, Steve. Yes, please share what you can." And I can visit that topic at the human tech community. Uh, I reply with, you should use, oh no, that's his reply to me. I wrote, Steve San Francisco on March 3, you should use an income-based pricing model that charges more to people who are rich and less to people who are poor in proportion to the value of the time that the product will save people. This pricing structure will satisfy demand measured in hours of your time instead of demand measured in dollars. So that's the sort of thing I'm about. So not your typical Homer Simpson, definitely. Here's an article on Evonomics. I've got two comments. I don't know what they are now. I'm not going to check them now in case they're embarrassing. Haha. But I probably would be checking them. I bet I made a comment in here, and maybe they're replies to my comments. I do a lot of talking on comments. Here's another one. So this is some user research I'm doing to our equalprice.coin, or the Hope Project. And this is a discussion with someone named Ajax the Great. What passes for a free market is really not so free as long as economic coercion of some sort exists. UBI would basically solve that problem as long as it is set high enough to eliminate the acts of poverty. As for your idea, with all due respect, it seems a bit quixotic, in my opinion. Oh, so what was my idea? Um, all good ideas if we can get control of the political apparatus from the wealthy. Have you considered free market solutions? Politicians set prices for sellers in a free market, and sellers have a profit incentive to charge higher markup for rich people and lower markup for poor people who have the time to shop around. All we have to do is give the sellers the technology to set prices higher for rich people and lower for poor people automatically, and the sellers of the world will solve poverty for us. So he thought that was chaotic. Don Quixote, I guess. Chasing windmills. Um, I could argue with him, but there's really no payoff. I don't think he's going to be a contributor, even if I convince him. He's a troll, really. He talks on discussion forums, and I don't think he's a joiner. He's got his mind made up. He wants to solve UBI. He wants UBI, and anything else is a distraction to him. So if you realize you're not going to convince anyone, try to find out where they're coming from and why, so that you can later if you feel it's worth your effort. Um, so I wrote, "You're welcome. Top three reasons are, one, it would be logistically difficult to be at best to implement. It would breed further resentment between people at different classes. There is a snowball's chance in hell of it ever happening. As for the claim that UBI is economic coercion itself, that is laughable on its face. It simply acts as a counterweight to employers' oligopsony power and artificially high unemployment rates, which currently keep bargaining and thus wages are artificially low. As for the broad analogy, that is in fact a disanalogy, since the extra money for UBI will act as an permanent economic stimulus. Since more money for people to spend means more customers for business, it's not a zero-sum game after all." So that's what he really wanted to say. This whole conversation for Ajax the Great was an opportunity to work this into a conversation. He wanted somebody here who would listen to him say this. I listened. He was never interested in joining another project. He's here in the discussion channels to get his message across to others. He's a write only, right? He only writes. He doesn't want to read anybody else's or consider anyone else's idea. Um, Now, I'm not different in that way. Most of us are, but it's important to know profile people who are coming to your site and why. Are they coming to tell you what they have to say, or hear what you have to say? I'm probably going to your site. And Richard Reisman, because I've had some discussions with you that were pretty interesting. So your site is fairpayzone, and I'm just going to sort of read and interpret. So the first thing is, it looks like I'm a user experience designer and web designer, so I kind of break these things down. It seems to be like a WordPress site. I don't know, medium size. This could be like a foundation or something like that, or a personal project. Who knows? Hard to tell at scale. Looks a little dated, but not too dated. It's got Blogger and Google Plus, so it seems active. More blogs. I'm logged in. I guess I signed in earlier. I wish I had recorded that. I can sign out. I have a dashboard. I'm not sure what goes on there. I'm surprised to have a dashboard and pleased. I didn't expect that. Actually, why don't I go there? So, you're probably thinking the dashboard is the solution to all your problems. Find no name for your blog and connect it instantly. I don't want to do that. No thanks. Blogger, all posts, new post, user blogger, using Blogger as unknown. Your HTTP settings have changed. All visitors now to view your blogger. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, this was a dead link for me. It says Dear Diary. I think that's what I used to blog. Okay, how did I get here and how do I get back? Okay, so first user experience design lesson for the Fair Pay Zone. Dashboard does not work. Maybe it's not you. Maybe this is because I'm signed in with Blogger. Maybe this is the Blogger dashboard. That must be the deal. I thought that was the, oh, and now I lost your site. Okay, well, because I tried to close the Blogger thing. Blah, 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 blah. Not Ajax the Great. Do I have it open someplace else? You got this other site, Teleshuttle and FairPay. You should go to start with FairPay. Alright, so figured that out. This is a blog site, and the FairPay Zone is a blog. So, FairPay, adaptively win-win customer relationships. Sounds a little, I don't know, how to win friends and influence people? Anyways, Richard Reisman's blog, now a book on win-win ways to reinvent business. Sounds like a motivational speaker. Resolve the revenue crisis for digital and create more customer vendor lifetime value for all. Resolve the revenue crisis for digital and okay. Seeking value-based customer-first relationships. Okay, so I have a preset agenda. I'm not looking for relationships in a solution, but that's because my solution is a price tag. That I think, so already I know in advance, I think that my product does something similar to fairpayzone. Fairpayzone seems more like the later stages of my product development plan, much later. And my product is much faster. But a one-to-one invisible handshake that brings commerce back to human values. This is good. I'm doing the same thing. I build my one-to-one invisible handshake into the price tag, so it works instantly and does not require a relationship. The seller has a relationship with the price tag, and the customer has a relationship with the price tag. That way, you don't have to have customer-seller relationships complications. Anyways. Also, a price tag makes it all immediate and brings it to the cash register. Most important point. Overview. Start here or watch the video. I'll watch the video. Okay. Opened up a thing here. I like videos. They're easy. Low effort. It's 30 minutes.
Yeah, so we're on now, and thank you. I'm happy to have the
Okay.
opportunity to speak to this group.
Can I full size it?
It's an interesting
Full screen is not
organization that
available,
seems to
probably
be
because I'm
very
recording.
much tuned into the kinds of things that I'm working on. So I think this should be a good session for me and hopefully helpful to all of you. The theme is adaptively seeking win-win customer relationships for the digital era. That sometimes comes through as error, which sometimes is a Freudian slip, maybe.
Okay, boring, self-indulgent. Don't care about your Freudian
Fair pay,
slip.
which is an approach I've been working on to give an idea, just a little bit of background. Many of you, I think, know this quote by Drucker
I don't want a background.
about acting with yesterday's logic in times of turbulence. And I think fair pay is really a logic for tomorrow. I sort of like the way it fits that quote. It's not a product, it really is a logic, an architecture, a process.
Okay, let me start right there. Stop right there. Clearly, it's not a product, it's a logic and an architecture. I like it. From what I've already read a little bit about the logic and the architecture, it sounds good. I don't really care that much, though, because I have a product. My interest is, my price tag, the hours equals price tag. It's ready for market. But I like the logic in this, and I want to build it into the price tag. So maybe a cooperation, or act as an advisor on my project. I don't know, is that self-indulgent of me asking you to join my project? I'm not really sure how to join your project.
Some background on me: I've been pioneering digital services for people since the late 60s. Have been in diverse businesses and roles, both B2B and B2C. I have about 50 patents that have been licensed to many companies. So I've been steeped in disruption, and particularly the business model.
Me too, except I haven't got any patents. I'm a nobody. Maybe you want to help me with that?
Crisis that has been affecting the content industries over the past 10 years or so. And in watching that develop a few years ago, I sort of happened on what I saw as a new way forward, which at first seems like a very simple concept, but as I thought about it more, I realized it has pretty deep implications and seems to be a whole new logic that centers on value propositions. And it changes the entire focus of customer relationships from price to value. So as I've been developing this, basically this has become...
Okay, so I'm going to stop here because we're still going off on relationships. Relationships are okay for B2B and repeat business, but again, my price tag, seller gets a relationship with the price tag, buyer gets a relationship with the price tag. Somebody can come from a foreign country, be a first-time buyer, and benefit from my technology. Now, we do build value weights into my price tag technology. Alright, so enough about me, though, because I'm trying to do a review on you. So, what would I say now? Well, for me personally, I would say this is where I stop reading and go back. So I'm going to go with that. But other people with other interests are certainly going to be just something different. Fair play presentation. Click here. So this sounds better. Maybe I can skim through this. Fair pay, patronizing journalism beyond paywalls, meters, and membership. Okay, so this sounds like a media payments schedule system. Like, we're gonna use this to pay for Wired.com access instead of membership. And I think I read this before a little bit or skimmed through it. Your mission to limit quality journalism to a wide audience, to be sustainable, not to get rich. My mission is aligned, introducing logic to content businesses, save journalism, expand value pro bono, and in logic. Sustain quality beyond clickbait and crowdsourcing, adaptive integration, metered paywalls, freemium, ad reverse meters, crowdfunding, membership. So I like this adaptive integrate soft metered paywalls, freemium ad reviewers. The adaptive part is good. Crowd is good. Um, Journalism, sure, that's nice. We can save it. Fair pay, a logic for tomorrow. Not a product. So, where's the product? I have a product. I want a product. Maybe you need my product to go along with your fair pay logic. Or maybe I need your logic to go along with my hours equals price product. Technology innovation. Toward the revolution. Extensive conceptual development. Online book. Yeah, I'm going to check that out. But I think it's going to be fairly, like, I don't know, it's good background reading for developing an ideas. It'll tell me the logic that I want from you, I'm sure. But I've already got a MVP profit model logic working. So this is more like advanced research topics for my product. Extensive discussions with business. And I've done a lot of advanced research already on my product. So a lot of this I expect is going to be stuff I've already worked out or collected. Extensive discussion with businesses. I've had extensive discussions too. Key elements validated by behavioral economics. Excellent. I love behavioral economics. Same with me. And emerging market theory. Yep. Me too. As far as validated, really it's just me explaining things. Although we are working on a project to test all this out by redesigning the board game of Monopoly. My work is really very hands-on, and we have a hackathon project to simulate an economy and practice making cells in hours equals price currency. And it's a limited subset of what you're talking about, but it's ready to go into production tomorrow. Eminent academic collaborators to assist in trials. I like that. I want eminent academic collaborators to assist. I want some math. Can you do some behavioral economics math for me? And like some hard marketing theory? Like, with graphs and shit like that. Anyways, trials, behavioral change, find the sweet spots. Yeah, low risk investment, low hanging fruit, early adopters begging for change. Those are the ones I've got. Delight and profit from the same, then build from there. Okay, sounds good. Low hanging fruit. I think my low hanging fruit is significantly lower than this guy's, because my low hanging fruit is like right away, easy. Price is regulated by a proportion between the quantity brought on the market and the demand of those who are willing to pay. Price is regulated by the proportion between the quantity brought to market and the demand of those who are willing to pay. Yeah. Void. I guess we're changing the definition of price, quantity, and demand. Monetizing digital offerings in networked markets. Dilemma. Pricing for information. Information wants to be free. Infinite replication. Yes. Information also wants to be expensive. Creation. Okay. I'm not sure this is a dilemma, but answer. Rethink our value exchange process. Not allocating scarce resources. Still need to no invisible hand. Still need to sustain producers. Yeah. Balance, value, ability to pay cost, profit, how. This doesn't really make sense to me. This is like a Cliff Notes. Like, maybe there's supposed to be a discussion or a talk about this too. Set prices are so last century, now taken for granted but unnatural. Historically, prices personalized. Personal negotiation. Human buyer and seller. Personal context, needs, bargaining power, relationships, yes. Communal norms, caring, fairness, even generosity. Absolutely true. In the 1980s, price tags, yep. So I'm going to skip this because I think I've already read it, and I think I sent somebody, maybe it was him, a link to a great video on that by Planet Money, NPR. Institutional seller, if you haven't seen it, look it up. NPR, Planet Money, they just made a podcast on the price tag. Institutional sellers to mass market consumers, scalable, simple operational efficiency, yep. Buyer, take it or leave it, exchange norms, bargain hunting. Again, these are cliff notes, not complete sentences, not incomprehensible, without a discussion or a speaker explaining it. E-commerce, mass personalization, one-to-one. Yeah, that's what I'm working on. Why not price? How to do it effectively, efficiently, at scale. Okay. The long tail of customers. This I've seen before in some of your stuff. I guess I watched a little bit of a video, or maybe I saw something else. No, I saw a YouTube video. I'm watching a YouTube video that's similar. This is a good one. Global wealth inequality. See description for updates. Knew what you never knew.
These days about the fact that the richest 1%.
So they do this thing here.
So the number of people at
Where is it?
tax avoidance called trade mispricing. That's more than 2 number of people.
No.
The
But
only
they do
reasonable
really good.
response,
The
it seems to me,
rules.org.
and our only hope, is to change the rules.
There's a chart I saw recently that I can't get out of my head. A Harvard
This is wealth inequality in America.
suffer quite a lot compared to the ideal, and the
And
middle class
it's really good.
restacked all by itself.
So this
This
is graphing wealth inequality.
they aren't investing. They're
And
just
this is
scraping.
like what people think it is, and this is like what it really is, or something like that. I forget what it is, but this is a really nice video. Anyways, back to the fair pay zone. Alright, so have I just lost interest? I don't think I ever got to the fair pay zone. I started here. Let's try that again. What does it have, a blogger icon? Oh, so I've got lots of fair play zones. Overview, start here. Yeah. That's what's been going on. I've got lots of these open. Because I was looking at this site earlier, and I just now decided to start recording what I'm doing. So, I guess I'll go over what a new reader like me went through. I went through the start. You got a lot of material here. This could take a long time to read and absorb. So, my first goal is just Fairpay was described briefly in the Harvard Business Review. Now, that's nice. I wish I had been described briefly in the Harvard Business Review. The Hope Project is relatively unknown compared to Fairpay. You've been at this a lot longer than me, which is impressive. And you've made some great accomplishments. Journal of Revenue and Project Pricing Management. Excellent. And my highly praised 2000 is great. You write a book. But what have you done with it? You need a product, man. Are you deliberately avoiding doing a product for some reason? So I'm just scanning through this. Replication is nearly free. Yeah. This is all stuff. Value is experiential, personal, and context dependent. Freemium totally misses this. That's totally right. Like with my price tag, we itemize the sell based on several values. So you could itemize the sell on personalized values, like how much fun was it? Of course, how much value did it deliver? We itemize the sell, include externalities in the sell. So we rate all these values that, I guess with you, that comes with as knowledge in a relationship. But for us, all those values, experience, personal, and context-dependent values, they all get labeled and integrated into the price tag so that it's a part of your receipt and it can be negotiated. Or you could have dispute transactions based on, this was supposed to make me feel better, but it didn't. Would be a value you might include in the price tag, that it will make you feel better. 70% of people said it made you feel better. That's a value. Okay, so Um, this has led to a crisis in many industries. Freemium is just one limited step in the right direction. Subscription economy is all about value. So this is about subscriptions. Okay, I mean, I'm about everything. I want to sell coffee at Starbucks, and I want to sell movie downloads, and I want to sell medicine. Um, Fairpay builds on extensive behavioral economics research to give sellers control of how much power to yield to buyers, depending on how well they pay over an ongoing learning relationship, to segment buyers based on their payment behavior, and to nudge them to pay generously using structured dialogues and incentives. So, yeah, this is like clearly just intended to reach the. This is a close competitor to freemium services. Is what Fairpay is. So that's cool, but I'm not really interested in that small of a market. I mean, it's not a small market, but I'm after like $1 trillion. Actually, what is my projection? $2 trillion a year annual? No, $3.45 trillion in annual revenue. Or sorry, in net wealth distribution from the richest people to the poorest people via the method of pricing differentials. Is what I'm doing. So fair pay, a repeated game. So I did look at this earlier, and you set the rules, make an offer. This is actually like the most informative part and the closest thing you seem to come to a product. Fair pay changes the game of commerce. So I jumped to this immediately because it's accessible and everything else is just like so much text, and you just go on and on. I just want to get the gist of it and see if this is like at all the right page. Set the rules, accept but gated FP offer. So I guess you make some sort of offer. I can't even read it. Okay. Selective privilege from seller, accept by use before pricing. But this is all goobly-gook. I mean, I have to know what selective privilege means to you in order to understand this graph. Gated FP offer. Okay, this is not a presentation graph. This is an information map that you've created. Information maps are great. They're good for brainstorming, for thinking about things, but they're not good for orientating a new customer or a new person. But I'm guessing that the seller makes an offer, the buyer accepts it or refuses it, and then there's some sort of track price, fair to seller. There's some sort of repeat. It's a game. It's a cycle. That's fine, I guess. I like it. I mean, it's good. It's just so complicated. Pay what you think fair for products or services after you try them. It's good. I like that. So I guess with my price tag, how do I do that? Well, you estimate in the price tag how much you're going to benefit from the service. That's a part of every price tag in the externality section. There has to be an estimate for external benefits. If you don't get those benefits in the price tag and on your receipt, then you can dispute the transaction. So is that paying what you think is fair after you try? No, it's paying what you think is fair before you try, based on a very, very specific sort of promise in a receipt that's enforced by the blockchain, not by the seller. And does it allow for... No, I think the blockchain could be built to allow for like built-in refunds, automatic refundability. I'm not sure. I have to look into that. Like if that doesn't work, if we can crowdsource and code into the blockchain some way that it can't be broken, and where as a purchaser you have that right digitally, electronically built into the code. That would be for like a later advanced version of my product, the Hope price tag. Make every purchase on a trial basis so you can always be sure to get your personal fair value. Sure. Agree to set your price fairly in your adjustment. Yep. Keep the privilege as long as you convince the seller you are being fair. Yeah. So that's kind of a good idea. I mean, I like the way he's like looking at the incentives and making sure they're all working correctly. Business get the most revenue from the most customers by continuously learning what each one values. So my product does that too. In my scenario, the business gets the most revenue from the most customers by continuously learning what each one values. We start our learning process by the business learning how much an hour of your time is worth, how much you value an hour of your time. And we want a number for that because we use it as a direct metric in pricing. We could go on to learn more about your values and let you learn about our values. But from the business perspective, once we know that answered that one particular important value question, how much is an hour of your time worth, we're ready to set the price and move on. We want it convenient now. We don't need a relationship. That's all we really needed to know, because knowing that piece of information gets us a 60% increase in profits statistically over our customer base. If we use it to individualize pricing based on how much an hour of your time is worth, we charge you more because we know that you're more likely to shop around. We don't lose customers because Bill Gates isn't going to worry about a $5 additional price because he's rich or something like that. Anyways, so let me get back to you though. Sustainability and social values. That's good. Again, I want to build that into the price tag. So with my scenario, sustainability and social values are separate categories in the externalities field of a price tag. So a price tag would have, what's the sustainability cost, a dollar value, or an hourly value in sustainability. And we'll have a dollar value plus an hourly value in social values that you can vote on. And that's part of the price tag integrated into it. So we know you can vote on it. And then you can compare across price tag. You can say, oh, this social value, statistically more people rate it higher than this social value. And they rate it valuable by $5 in 3 hours. Better. So you can compare products that way. You can say the social values of this is, and you can automate it with numbers. And it can all be instantaneous, and it comes with the price tag. I guess you could say the price tag is the community. The price tag is solidarity. Because that's what it does. It really pools information from multiple consumers into one negotiating item, the price tag. Because the price tag's shared, right? You know, if you sell 1 million can openers, all 1 million of them have the same price tag. Alright, so I'm going to stop recording now.